views and opinions expressed in this program are those of the participants and do not necessarily reflect the views of BronxNet or the program underwriters.
Hey everyone, I'm the Dr. Bob Lee and welcome to Open BxRx. We have yet another fantastic show lined up for you today. We're going to give it to you like we owe you something. In fact, coming up on today's show, we'll speak to the representative of an organization that will be honoring our local frontline heroes. Then we'll learn about how an organization is sending love, L-O-V-E, light and positivity, to those who have been incarcerated. And then we'll speak to the executive of an organization to learn about how they are empowering women of color in our communities. Then my man Bobby C has the latest in the world of sports. And then we'll speak to a martial artist whose teachings emphasize the saying, the best offense is a great defense. So stay tuned. All of this and more is headed your way because we are now open. Hello, everybody. I'm the Dr. Bob Lee, and you're watching Open, that live interactive program that brings the Bronx and New York City straight to your TV set. Stay connected to us through social media at BronxNet TV. Leading things off, our first guest is the Vice President of Marketing for New York City Football Club, and she joins us to speak about the New Jersey launch. She's been here before. That New Jersey launch is very, very special. It will honor the efforts of our local frontline workers. And of course, we all know that's very important and special. Please welcome to the show, Sarah Bishop. Sarah, welcome. Nice to see you again.
Hello. Thank you for having me. It's great to be here.
So tell us about your role and tell us what we're doing.
Yes, I am, as you mentioned, I'm the Vice President of Marketing at New York City Football Club, which in the past 12 months has looked very different from what I'm sure the marketing role looked like pre-pandemic. But I'm really excited to be here with you today to talk to you and all of the viewers about our new 2021 home kit called the Bronx Blue kit.
Oh, woo!
Right here. Yes. Little New York flag right there. And I mean, we're really excited. We launch a new home kit once every 2 years.
Yeah.
But for us, this felt much more special this year. It's all about talking about our home and where we're from and being truly from the Bronx and the South Bronx and paying homage to New Yorkers among us who have been integral to getting us through the past 12 months.
Yeah. So what are you doing that's different? Because I know we had you on a couple of times before. What's different today?
The biggest difference, I think, in terms of everything that we're doing as a club, but specifically related to this launch, is that we're really turning the camera away from just focusing on our players and the first team to kind of, tell stories around why the jersey is so important to them. So especially when it came to this kit launch, given the year that we've just gone through, we felt like, there was no other way to reveal this than to outfit our frontline workers and our community heroes with it. So in our reveal photography that you may have seen across our New York City Football Club channels in the past couple of weeks, we had a couple of our homegrown players, one being Tavon Gray, who's from the Bronx, but also the frontline workers who are in our fan base. One, Jamie, being a nurse who's been working throughout this pandemic, and the second, being Omu, who is our city and the community coach and an educator. And so for us, it was really important to start the storytelling around why the South Bronx is so important to us with people who are truly from the South Bronx and who have been foundational to getting us all through the past year.
Sarah, what inspired the colors behind the Bronx Blue jersey design?
It's a great question. This kit is actually, it features our iconic city blue colorway. I'm gonna try to like do my best Vanna White impression, with a tonal striped pattern that's really inspired by the city's municipal departments.
Uh-huh.
It really is a nod to the nostalgia of the city. And then the white trim around it also gives a nod to our very first jersey in 2015 with an adaptation of the New York City flag that's here emblazoned above the nameplate to serve as really, you know, again, that proud declaration that the club represents a community that is strong and resilient and full of people who couldn't be prouder to be from the 5 boroughs.
And what about Heroes Row and what is being offered to our frontline workers with its creation?
Yeah, I'm glad you asked. So we, through everything we're doing, are focusing on how we celebrate our frontline workers. So it's not just, you know, who we're featuring in our photography. And to that point, we've made the commitment to create a Heroes Row at home matches in our stadium throughout 2021 to celebrate those frontline workers and their families. And so at each of those home matches, we will choose a frontline worker or an essential worker and their family to celebrate. We'll give them prime seats in this row to enhance their game experience, really thank them for what they've been doing, and also highlight them in their story across what our game experience looks like both in stadium and on Yes Network and broadcast, which we really feel like is honestly the least we could do given sort of all of the amazing work that they've done for us and continue to do over the past few months.
Absolutely. We have to do all we can to help support our frontline workers. I remember in the early days of the pandemic, you can drive through the city or different parts of the borough and you can hear the accolades and the applause and the hitting on pots and pans or drums or whatever, just to recognize every day at 7 o'clock the work that our frontline workers are doing. You know, and we will never forget. We will never forget. And I just hope that we come out of it and continue to do like a big thing for our frontline workers and maybe have them come into the studio along with you.
Totally.
And we can really do a big celebration somehow.
Of course, that would be great. And I mean, the other thing that we're focusing on as we continue to move through this is how that definition of frontline and essential worker continues to evolve, right? I think when the pandemic first started, of course, we were so focused on the doctors and the nurses and NYPD and FDNY and continue to still be. But I think that as this pandemic's gone on, you know, you continue to understand and respect and admire all of the sacrifices by educators and, you know, grocery store employees, MTA workers who continue to be the lifeline and the heartbeat of the city. And so when we talk about this Heroes Row and everything we're doing, it's really to recognize that, you know, expanded definition of who is essential to all of our lives, even today.
Yeah. Well, we thank you and appreciate you and your organization for all the wonderful things that you guys are doing. Where can people go to follow the team and get more information on the NYCFC? And what you guys are doing, because I think we want to maybe we'll buy one of the jerseys and sit in the stands and watch you guys.
Great. I mean, we would love to have you this season. For anyone who's interested in anything New York City Football Club, obviously the first place to go is nycfc.com. From there, you can find redirects to MLS store where you can buy this beautiful jersey, but also find more around the stories of Jamie and Omu and more of those frontline workers that we're continuing to highlight and some of the storytelling that we're rolling out, as well as some of the amazing programming that our City and the Community Foundation has continued to do throughout this pandemic to support people from across the 5 boroughs, but specifically in the Bronx. And definitely follow us on social media. We are at NYCFC on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, and would love to be able to keep everyone updated on our upcoming season. Yeah.
So, you know, we got to continue to applaud our frontline workers. They are risking their lives and sometimes giving their lives to help us go on living our lives. And you can't put anything on that. we have to continue to love on them and praise them and recognize them for all the wonderful things that they're doing. And your organization, we thank you. We thank you for your service.
Well, I mean, we would be nowhere without sort of the people who keep the city alive. So, again, I think that we have, different ways that we will be recognizing them. But your point is a great one, that, our admiration and gratitude for everyone who has been essential to all of our lives in the multiple ways that, we've needed support over the last year and continue to need support, will continue to be a staple of how we connect with the community at NYCFC.
Sarah, wave a hand to some of the people working with you. Who are they?
I mean, so many to count. Again, our City and the Community Foundation that is run by Paul Jeffries has done amazing work out there. We've done fantastic work with New York Common Pantry, and helping to deliver meals to people who are most at need in the Bronx during this time, as well as many of the other community programs that we've run during this time. But we also, behind the scenes at New York City Football Club, have a number of people across multiple departments who have helped bring this jersey and the storytelling behind this jersey to life, and continue to work across our partners and with the community to make sure that this isn't just something that we're pushing out to make sure that every fan buys, so that we proclaim New York City is blue, but that we also recognize frontline heroes while we're doing it. So too many probably to shout out and count, but this jersey is definitely not just me. So
and a big shout out to Amanda.
Yes, we have our amazing comms team who has been able to also help spread the word about all of the amazing work that has gone into the recognition for some of these essential workers with NYCFC. So massive thanks.
What's the website again?
NYCFC.com.
New York City football team. There you go. New York City Football
Club. Yep.
The jersey launch. Sarah Bishop, Vice President of Marketing, NYCFC. Thank you, thank you, thank you. We can't thank you enough. We have an attitude of gratitude.
Thank you so much for having me. It's been a pleasure.
Okay. We'll take a break right here. We got more coming up next on Open.
We built a media network for you.
BronxNet TV.
Come learn in your new state-of-the-art studios at Lehman College.
At Mercy College.
And coming soon to the South Bronx in the Hub.
Inspire with your stories, culture, history.
Your Bronx on BronxNet.
Engage with us.
Connect with us at your channels and at bronxnet.tv.
Learn, engage, inspire. BronxNet TV.
From the Bronx
to the world.
BronxNet.
Welcome back, everybody. I'm the Dr. Bob Lee from 107.5 WBLS. And our next guest is the founder of Just Right. It's a community project, and she joins us today to speak about how her organization is uplifting the lives of incarcerated individuals through letter writing. So please welcome to the show, Coach T. We be hanging out. She's hanging out with me, the BOBLEE. I'm not a poet, but Coach, you've been on before. And I think the last time we were on, you were talking about letter writing for Mother's Day, right? Talk about that.
Absolutely. First of all, it's great to be back here with you. We got to stop meeting like this, Bob. Around Mother's Day, every year we do something called an Incarcerated Mothers Card Drive, where we just really reach out to mothers who are incarcerated, sending them cards, sending them love, just reminding them that we see them and we're there for them.
Yeah, it's a Mother's Day writing campaign, right?
So It Just Right is a letter writing campaign centered around sending love and letters to men, women, and children who are incarcerated. So we write into the whole community. We're writing them just because they're part of our community, and we want them to remember that we are here for them and that they left the community behind them, but they have a community to return to. So we write to everyone who's incarcerated.
Coach, how did you start this? What made you want to start it?
Why not start it? I was a young girl growing up in the South Bronx, not too far from Yankee Stadium. And a lot of my people were being arrested. They were being incarcerated. They were going away for football years. And I just realized that we had to write to them and stay connected with them. I've been running this project since I was about 17 years old. I am 36, I think. So I've been doing it wherever I am, whatever I'm up to, I have been continuing to organize the Just Right Community Project.
That's good. That's good. And the goal of it, what do you want people to know about this?
Well, the goal of it is so simple. Just write. Just write. You have time to sit down for a couple of minutes and write to your brother, your sister, your cousin, your auntie, and just stay connected with them. Because the truth is that so much time is lost when folks are incarcerated. So many memories, right? Just think about the holidays when someone's not sitting at the table with you, right? And birthdays. So it's important. It's the goal is to stay connected with folks. The impact has been that it only takes you a few minutes to just write.
Yeah. Now, the last time we were speaking, we were talking about, I think, a stigma associated with the people who have family members who have been incarcerated or who are incarcerated.
Yeah, one of the reasons I started the project was to remove that stigma, right? When someone is incarcerated in your family, everyone feels that. And you feel the stigma, the children feel it, the families feel it. Like you feel like you're actually doing time and away for what someone allegedly did. So when we do our letter writing parties, it's filled with love, it's filled with art, it's filled with togetherness. And that really removes the stigma that we feel. Like we can all get together and write to our loved ones without feeling ashamed.
Yeah. Now, has the pandemic affected the way Just Right Community Project operates?
Thank you for that question, Bob. That's a great question. It has, because so first of all, during the pandemic, we can't visit physically, right? And see our loved ones, but it also slowed down the mail, right? Slowed down the mail for a lot of health issues and for reasons that we understand, but now we can't see them and we can't write to them. So how do we know how they're doing? So during the pandemic, we still were sending letters of love out to folks. But we also, had to switch to electronic communications as well. But the soul of the organization is to really have people to sit down and write. But COVID really did slow it down, but we're back up and running.
So Coach T, you have these two wonderful things happening. Mother's Day, that's going to be big. And then the Friday Night Right, right?
Yes. So Friday Night Right, March 19th, we're getting together to write to women who are incarcerated. It is Women's History Month. We're going to be at the Bronx Collab at 6 p.m. And we're really just writing to the sisters who are behind the wall right now, letting them know that we remember them and we can't wait till they get home. And then every year around Mother's Day, we do a Mother's Day card drive. And this year, we're actually going to be doing a welcome home brunch for mothers who are just coming home from incarceration. So we have a lot going on with Just Right. So look us up.
I like it. I like it. Is there a website we can go to?
You guys can check us out on Instagram, Just Right Community Project, or you can email us at the Just Right Community Project at gmail.com.
That's beautiful. All right. Any projects coming up? Anything that we should know about? We got the Friday Night Right. We got the Mother's Day Right coming up.
You should really know about Friday Night Right. And let me tell you why, Bob, because it's Women's History Month, right? We love to talk about Women's History Month, but I think we forget about the sisters who are incarcerated. We forget that they are brave, they are powerful, they are talented. So that's really what Friday Night Right is about this month. It's about saluting those sisters who are incarcerated. So I work on so many projects, but I'm most passionate about the Just Right Community Project. All you need to know about Coach T is that Friday Night Right is going down on March 19th.
Coach T. Any final thoughts, Coach T?
You know, my final thought is that we have to uplift communities who are impacted by incarceration. That means the children, that means the families, that means everyone, y'all. Our people who are incarcerated need us. You know, prison is no place for a pandemic. So those are my final remarks. And
you're sticking to it.
Yep. And that's the gospel truth.
There you go. Thank you, Coach T. Me and Coach T hanging out with me, the BOBLEE. Hey, check it out. Kick off your shoes and relax your feet. We're going to take a break, and we've got more coming up next on Open.
When taking public transportation, don't touch your phone. Carry hand sanitizer and use it immediately upon leaving the bus or train. Avoid touching your face. If someone is coughing or sneezing, move away. Wash your hands with soap and water as soon as possible. Limit contact with poles. If possible, avoid rush hour. Don't eat or drink on public transportation. Keep your bag off the floor or other surfaces. Avoid directly touching turnstiles. Stay up to date with the latest from your local health department and CDC.
Welcome back, everybody. I'm the Dr. Bob Lee. Our next guest is the co-founder and CEO of the Institute for Entrepreneurial Leadership. And she joins us today to speak about how her organization is empowering women of color and to promote their upcoming Women of Color Connecting Summit. Please welcome to the show, Jill Johnson. Jill, how are you?
I am doing well. Thank you so much for having me.
Oh, you're always welcome. You know, this is a family show, so I'm going to ask, how's the family?
They're doing well. One is here, which, you know, that is a blessing in these days. And yeah, we're doing well.
So lots of virtual hugs going out to you and the family.
Thank you.
Until we meet again in a studio.
Back at you.
Yeah. Now, what is the Institute of Entrepreneurial Leadership? FEL.
Yeah.
And
we call it EIFEL. So we call it EIFEL. It is affectionately known as EIFEL.
And it's a tower.
As in the tower that is strong and growing, stronger. So the Institute for Entrepreneurial Leadership is an organization, speaking of family, that my father and I co-founded together. We are a nonprofit, and the focus is really on eradicating the barriers that exist, the systemic level barriers that exist for people of color, for women, in terms of growing businesses that are scalable and that are generating wealth.
And then you have a Connecting Summit coming up, right? What's the date of that and what's it all about?
So it started last week on March 11th. We're really excited and, great, amazing participation. And it's going on actually for 14 days. So the end of it is March 25th. And the event is it's called Women of Color Connecting. WOCON is what we call it, WOCON 2021.
Uh-huh.
And the focus is on connecting the allies, champions, and investors who say that diversity is important and that inclusion matters. It's about connecting them with amazing women of color entrepreneurs who they can support.
There you go. And we got to give a big shout out to your son, the technical person. We saw him run through the camera earlier, but it's okay.
Supporting this woman of color.
Yeah, it's okay. I mean, this is what it's all about. Sometimes we hear dogs in the background, babies crying, and to have a technical son, you have a few of them. You have
I have 4 of them. I have 4 of them. And he is actually our tech person. He built the computer that I am using right now.
Wow, all right.
He built it from scratch, yes.
And what's his name?
Tristan.
Tristan, you might as well give the other 3 a shout out also.
Well, there's Hunter, our oldest, Kieran, and then Tristan, and then Carson.
Oh, that's beautiful.
14,
Listen, tell us.
22.
There you go. You can't forget that. How has the IPL managed to continue inspiring women of color to become entrepreneurs or to continue to open doors for women in investment ventures?
I think what's really important to note is that women of color entrepreneurs really don't need any inspiration. They are inspired. They are continuing to do the hard work that they do every day, despite the barriers that exist. These women are, amazing experts in their fields. They know what they're doing. The problem, however, Bob, is there are so many doors that are closed to them that are open for other people. And that is the issue that we really have to address. And so what we're really talking about and what we're messaging is that for all the people who say, again, that diversity matters and inclusion is so important, everyone has to stop being a bystander. There's no room for sitting on the sidelines. People have to get involved. They have to do what they can to open doors, not just professionally in what they do day to day for their job, but personally. Everyone has to play a role in opening doors.
And how do we address these issues?
Whoa, so that's what we're talking about over these 14 days. And, we have about another week and a half to go. Yeah. But really, we think that so much of the solution starts with people getting to know each other, people forming relationships. Because let's face it, Bob, you open doors for people who like, and trust, people who you want to help. Even, getting on this show, people who and have a good relationship with, more likely to have them on the show. So much is about relationships. You're not going to invest in people that you don't know. The problem is, again, many of the people who are the keepers and the holders and stewards of resources, who hold the money and who hold the keys, don't know a lot of women of color entrepreneurs. They don't know, when they look in their networks are not very diverse. But then they wonder in their professional lives why it is that they haven't been able to make any investments in these entrepreneurs. And so really, again, for us, it starts with relationships, and we invite people to join us to just start that process of expanding their network.
We were talking earlier, you guys are so deeply involved in our community. You're always having like a convention or putting something on, whether through, in the past, you had the magazine, Yes Magazine, and some of the other things that your family has been doing. But COVID happened, and how have you navigated through the COVID pandemic?
Bob, we were busier than ever. Businesses were struggling. And so, we had to, really build our capacity. Actually, we hired more people and expanded our team so that we would have more capacity. Because as we know, businesses and entrepreneurs that had limited resources were harder hit. They were disproportionately impacted. They did not have the runway to just keep it going and stay in business oftentimes. And so, we wanted to be there for our entrepreneurs. We wanted to help them navigate, try to figure out how to pivot, how to, just switch gears. And first and foremost, how to stay in business so that they were there at the end of it to then move forward and thrive.
Yeah. So you still have a couple more days left. What do we have to look forward to?
Yeah, in fact, I mean, we have about a week and a half left. As I said, we end on the 25th.
The 25th.
Thursday will be our conversations about capital and about investors and what investors need to do and what the investment community needs to understand and realize. And we're having a great panel conversation on why who's writing the check matters. That's really important. We got to get more capital into the hands of people of color, of women of color, who are then able to deploy that capital. So it's going to be a really rich conversation.
I like the way you said that.
It's going to be a rich conversation.
Yeah.
On what day is it? Wednesday. We're actually going to take the conversation to Clubhouse, and we're going to do a conversation called Black Women, Whiskey, and Wealth. The whiskey for St. Patrick's Day. But, you know, we're going to bring people together to continue this conversation about what it's going to take, because by the 25th, we're going to end with solutions. And we're going to put out there our recommendations for what people can do to finally and once and for all address this issue of access to capital for women of color.
There you go. All right. I'm Dr. Bob Lee on Clubhouse. I'm going to go there. Black Women, Whiskey, and Wealth. Woo.
Yeah.
You can't go wrong with that one. It sounds like it can be a song also. Get a theme song for it. How can women or young women or any women get involved with your organization or with this summit? Because we still have a week and a half left.
Absolutely. So we are WOCON.org, WOCCON, like in Women of Color Connecting. They can, go to our website and take a look. So the full agenda for everything is on the website. We are on Instagram at WOC Connecting. So they can find us there, and we'll be, pushing out messages there about the event as well.
All right. Thank you so much. Give my love to the family, okay? And good luck with everything.
Thank you.
And maybe I'll come in and peep inside the door, see what's going on.
I hope you will.
All right. Jill Johnson, the Institute for Entrepreneurial Leadership. Thank you, thank you, thank you. We can't thank you enough. And thank you for your service.
Thank you.
All right, we'll take a quick break right here. But coming up next, we have Bobby C. Check him out. He has the latest in the world of sports. Next.
Sports marketing guru Brandon Steiner joins us this morning to chat about the latest in collectibles and the games that shape them. Morning, Brandon. How are you?
Good morning. How's it going? Beautiful day in New York City.
Absolutely. Definitely excited for the month of March. And since it's March Madness, I figured a good place for us to start is Syracuse basketball. You have pieces of the Syracuse Carrier Dome for sale on Collectible Exchange. But before we get into that, I wanted to ask you about Cuse's men's basketball season as an alum. Coach Boeheim's recent comments to a reporter about his height and the play of local product Alan Griffin?
I mean, I love Coach because he always figures it out, which is why he's a Hall of Fame coach. I think the season's really weird. And I think next season it's going to be weirder because a lot of guys are going to be moving. We're going to see more free agency in college basketball, and also a clog, as far as recruiting, because players staying will cause less kids to get recruited, and also a little bit of some confusion because you have a freshman who maybe was thinking he was going to come in and play, but now you got a fifth-year senior. I think this season is very weird. I'm hoping the tournament is fun and good for the kids, because the season really hasn't been. I'm just be honest, like the kids haven't been able to practice. They're not really living a school life, what they kind of signed up for. I'm hoping that the tournament is something special because the regular season just hasn't. If you want to talk Syracuse basketball, I mean, to me, the upside, because I have no idea, it just seems like Michigan and Gonzaga have the two teams to beat. But the women's team is a team that I just feel could be so much better. And I'd be just disappointed if they can't really advance in the tournament. They've got 5 really, really good players and 8 players that can almost start anywhere. And they just have not reached their full potential, but they have played well at times. And they have like a UConn kind of team. So I'm curious to see if they get it together and get on a run. I wouldn't count them out.
I always love talking collectibles with you. I wanted to get some thoughts about the Knicks with you this morning. I have this signed rookie card of Obi Toppin, hoping it's going to be worth millions of dollars someday. Are you surprised?
The operative word, hoping.
Hoping. Are you surprised by the Knicks play, and what kind of market is there for collectibles right now when it comes to the Knicks, including, of course, this local standout Obi Toppin?
I'm not surprised. I mean, this coach is one of those coaches that will get you to mediocrity at least, which is better than being in the basement. He has a hard time holding on to this kind of, these kind of teams, like how long can they play this kind of intense defense and only win, basically 4 out of 10, 5 out of 10 games. It's tough for these guys. They don't want to play 500 and have to play this hard. And this is where Thibodeau has struggled. I wouldn't bet too much on that card. I mean, he doesn't play much. He hasn't had one of those incredible rookie seasons, but you never know when the light is going to go off. It's not going off for him this season. It's weird how the Knicks have run because they've had a lot of good players, and then now those players are finding their way to the bench. This is the difficulty in basketball when those I call them the tweeners, where you get these few players that kind of could be starting, and then all of a sudden they find their way to the bench, and it kind of starts messing with guys' careers, and that's when they end up moving around. And so it's another weird. The NBA is a little weird. I think the collectible market's through the roof. We're seeing a change over at Collectible Exchange where every day people are coming to try to sell their stuff. A lot of older people downsizing, putting their kind of affairs in order and realizing they're sitting with thousands of dollars of memorabilia and they want to sell it. We're seeing young people really interested. We're seeing people redo their man caves because they're home a lot. See women redoing their offices because they're home a lot. So there's a huge buying and a huge demand. The trading card thing is a weird bubble that I try to stay a little bit away from because it's out of control. And I feel like at some point it will burst as it did like in the 90s. And I hope that people don't get screwed up too much by spending all this money on cards that, like you just did on the Obi Toppin card. Like, by the time you get it graded and find the card, there's a lot of people spending thousands of dollars on these prayers that a card may be worth a lot. And the chance of getting that really valuable card are slim and in some cases none.
Right here in the Bronx, we got this 18-year-old Yankee phenom, Jason Dominguez, and he's pretty much set the market on absolute fire. I don't know if you noticed, but some of the stuff on eBay had a 2020 Bowman Chrome signed variant card last month that sold for $24,999. Do you think, Brandon, that, even though I know he's been compared to Mickey Mantle and Mike Trout, but is that kind of money ridiculous for a guy that's never had a major league at bat?
Yes, and dangerous. And I'm not sure where that comes from. And I wonder who's buying that for $24,000 because, are there people hyping up the market? Just like on Wall Street where you see people moving stocks and creating a false market. I don't know who's spending $25,000 on a card like that and why. and I would question it. And I'm very nervous about the validity of a lot of these purchases. And there aren't as many as you think, and they definitely tend to get broadcasted and giving people the sense that they can end up with the next, $1 million card, which is just not true. So I would be really careful. I'd be very careful, because some of these markets are way overhyped and without a lot of substance to substantiate the hype.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, always have dealt with you and come to you, whether it's buying. I have this beautiful Yankee Stadium seat here in the living room, or coming by the shops before COVID to have these signings with all these great athletes. But I often think I put some more collectibles here to the side to to kind of show off. But I thought it'd be a better investment to invest in a player like DJ LeMahieu, where some of these cards, like this one, has the autograph, but it also has some of the Yankee uniform on it, and you can get a card like this somewhere between maybe $50 and $100. And this is a guy that's won a batting title, and he's been an all-star. I think that's a lot better of an investment than maybe Jason Dominguez, even though I think he's going to be great, or I hope he's going to be great. But 25 grand, I mean, that's a new car for some people.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, I think that you should collect what you like, have some fun with it. But when you get into the thousands of dollars, you're bypassing the hobby and just getting into the business part of it. And I just want you to absorb, there's serious risk there. I mean, quite a bit of it. And, a lot is going to happen between now and the 3 years by the time this kid puts on a uniform and actually gets into Yankee Stadium. So, it's nerve-wracking to me that people are spending this kind of money, and I don't want to see it be a black eye for the collectible business in a few years when this stuff's not panning out and people are still not spending the kind of money that they're spending now.
Yeah, I know for me, I was thinking of different things to put out, and one of my favorite collectibles to show off to you. And it was a question I was going to ask you, because this was a book that Mickey Mantle signed for me when I was about 10 years old. I don't know how much the value of it would actually be, but of course it's a prized possession, because to get to meet someone who you idolize, your parents grew up in the Bronx and they love to talk about Yankee baseball, and Mickey Mantle's like the guy.
There's no doubt. And I got to do signings with Mickey and got to know Mickey pretty well. And he was the best. And he's a big part of the collectible business, with one of the best autographs I've ever seen, and actually cared about his autograph and loved making people happy with that autograph. If it's personalized, that does take a little bit away from it. And autograph books don't do quite as well. You may have missed the market with Mickey a little bit, because he's starting to actually come down in more prices, as opposed to 4 or 5 years ago when Mantle was at the height. And any Mantle autograph was getting really, really good money. But that's still worth a few $100. Is it personalized to you?
Nope, it's just
I mean, that's a good few $100 autograph right there. Yeah. A lot of people will cut that autograph out of the book and frame it up with a photo, or they'll put it in a chit and get it graded. So, somebody probably buy that for a few $100, especially if it's a nice, clean autograph, which I think it did seem to be. And then there's some people that collect books and may want that book and may give you a little bit more. That's the kind of item I put in my auctions, to be honest with you. We have a good Mickey Mantle, good Yankee following on collectible exchange auctions. And you put a book like that in there, and that's how I would sell it.
Well, Brandon, it's always great to see you. You still owe me an Evel Knievel autograph, though. I'm hoping you can find one.
I think I may have one for you, actually. If you email me, I actually saw one. I could not remember who the hell wanted that Evel. If you email me next week, I will give you a price on when I found one. And I'll probably be able to get it for you.
Very exciting. More stuff to add to my collection. So collectibleexchange.com, Brandon Steiner's new sports marketplace for fans, players, and collectors. We mentioned it, great stuff. Yankee manager Aaron Boone, Syracuse Carrier Dome, UFC, plus arrival pieces that are signed by the likes of Yankee greats Derek Jeter, Yogi Berra, you name it, he's got it. All the stuff that can be collected there. Brandon, thank you so much for joining us this morning.
You're welcome. Stay safe, and talk to you soon.
We built a media network for you.
BronxNet TV.
Come learn in your new state-of-the-art studios at Lehman College.
At Mercy College.
And coming soon to the South Bronx in the Hub.
Inspire with your stories, culture, history.
Your Bronx on BronxNet.
Engage with us.
Connect with us at your channels and at bronxnet.tv.
Learn, engage, inspire. BronxNet TV.
From the Bronx
to the world.
BronxNet.
back. I'm the DOC, BOBLEE, Dr. Bob Lee on BronxNet. And our next guest has been a practitioner of the martial arts for over 30 years. And he is the founder of 52 Blocks Martial Arts School. And he joins us today to speak about 52 Blocks and how others can learn the technique to defend themselves. How do you say? Offense is the best defense.com. Please welcome to the show, Lyte Burly. Hey, how are you?
I'm good. I'm doing well.
So you've been doing this for some time, huh?
Yeah, man, a lot of work. a lot of work with defense.
Well, people think it's just a physical thing, but it's also mental and spiritual.
Definitely. Well, mental, because you when you train a lot, you spend a lot of time with yourself. So you start to really learn yourself from the inner outer. And spiritually, 52 Blocks is, one of the only arts that really covers self-preservation. We have a lot of arts that their defense is their offense. And 52 Blocks, the defense is the defense. So when you train the art of defense, it seeps into your soul where you learn to give people chances. It's not that, they do something and immediately you hit them with the heart exploding technique. With defense, when you do that, you give people the benefit of the doubt, I like to say.
Who's helping you with a lot of this fighting? Sandra DaCosta?
Yes. Great management team helping me to bring 52 to the next level. And, we're all excited. I've been beating at this rock by myself for the last couple of years. So it feels good to have somebody else with a sledgehammer.
Yeah, let's come with a team.
On the rock with me.
Beautiful. Sandra DaCosta with the Bullion Foundation. What inspired you to create 52 Blocks, and how long did it take you to build up a following?
Well, it's something I grew up seeing. When I grew up, men were men. They handled disputes with their hands, and because of that, they became very good. They became very good at techniques. And 52 Blocks is a defense. It's a foundational Black American art that has always been in boxing. When you look back at Jack Johnson with the Chitlin Circuit, 10 Black men in the ring blindfolded, it was defense. Because when you're blindfolded, what you using? You can't see your opponent, so you got to kind of feel them. So it was my teacher, Wilson Pitts, that helped me connect the origins of 52 to when Black boxers were allowed to engage in boxing, and all the way down to the 80s where I seen my cousins, it was defensive movements. And I was like, wow, I love that. The ability not to get hit was way more appealing to me than hit someone else.
Mayweather has that defensive.
Oh yeah, that's it. The Philly shell. Yes.
Yeah, you make a mistake and that's it.
Yes.
Bam.
Yes. The Philly shell is an example of that. Benny Briscoe too, another old time fighter who used a lot of elements of 52. A Jersey Joe Walcott, and like I said, all right. Yeah.
Taking it back. So wait a minute. People think that, some people think that you can just get in a ring or start something and be all right with it. And you may be all right for the first 30 seconds, but then you get tired.
Yeah. Yeah. My teacher says stamina make old ladies of us all. So yeah, he said, and if you're only Bruce Lee for 30 seconds, and the fight goes for a minute, you're in trouble. So stamina is a big thing. And that's where real training comes in, is that it couldn't be, that's where I feel I've revolutionized 52 Blocks, is to take it from something that became just a street element and add the jumping rope, the running the miles, the intense repetition to put it into your muscle memory, because you only have fight or flight. And so if your brain doesn't remember the fight, then you go for flight. So you really have to put that memory into the muscle. So during those times, you execute.
And you said a whole lot there. I grew up in the hood, so it was just regular, whatever, let's get busy, whatever you got,
Exactly.
and get busy like that. But when you begin to train and you begin to discipline yourself to do the things necessary, to take care of business, mind, body, and spirit,
Yes.
you can really know how to handle different situations and give yourself, you instead of just teeing off right off the bat,
That's
it gives
right.
you an opportunity to think about whether or not I want to get into this.
Yes.
Or maybe
yes.
I can bump it down another way. Now,
Yes.
how many, you got into boxing first, right? And you've watched hours and hours of film. Explain that.
Well, in the beginning, it was I went to it was like a military school in Philadelphia called Girard College, and there I did like taekwondo and wrestling, and the early beginnings were 52, but in the beginning, all I had was this. And I was copying off of the older guys. That's the only move I knew. So I was very limited.
Time, though, right?
I was good with it. I was fast. Then I got into taekwondo, wrestling, and then when I came back, it was some other martial arts where I thought I was learning, but that's when I learned certain teachers really not teaching you. They're kind of using you as like a living heavy bag. You're not really learning nothing. You're kind of just getting beat up. And then eventually I met my teachers, Roberto Sharp and Wilson Pitts, and they really put me on the way. And it was Wilson Pitts who helped me to understand the moves that I had figured out and I had gathered from 52 that it had to be systematic. He said, you can't freestyle because then that's not good for your mind to hold on to, and muscle memory. It has to be repetition. He said, you do it once, you got to do it 1,000 times. And that's what I did. So I put my moves together, systemized it, and then I ran into the world. I was like, I couldn't just teach it just yet because I had to be the guinea pig. So I accepted all challenges, and then I went around the schools, putting it out there against other arts and disciplines.
And now you have your own school, 52 blocks.
Pretty much.
Block school.
Yes, 2 online classes, 8 DVDs, 1 book, and a set of cards.
And so somebody can learn from home, right?
Yes.
Especially during the pandemic.
Yes, I got very lucky. I had a guy that reached out to me from Learn Martial Arts Academy, and he was asking me to set up an online course. And I was like, I don't know. But then the way he sold it to me and the way we broke the lessons down, 500 lessons, real fundamental, I was like, this could work. And a year later, the pandemic hit. So I got very lucky to already have a year running.
So you have a number of students.
Yes.
Now,
I think it's up to like 100.
How do you get them to feel the punch and get their knuckles and
see now that's the only thing I told them is that this gives you the base. And if you certify, if you take all 5 lessons and you certify, I will come to you and put the on your face. And we've had people that have done it. And one of my students who done it, he was in Denmark. He said, I've certified Lyte and I'm in Denmark, and we went to Denmark.
And you went there to kick his
I went to Denmark. And and because you got to make it real. So
you got to make it real.
Take all of the tests and you certify, I come straight to you.
He said, damn, somebody came all the way from New York to kick my...
That's right. He was surprised. I was surprised. I was, I was in Denmark. It was different, but I was ready.
Yeah. Before we wrap up, give us a few demonstrations, maybe one.
Okay. One of the moves that made me famous is the skull and bones. Now that's for straight punches. Like when you're thinking about straight punches coming at you, we have both sides.
Oh, these are punches coming at you, so it's like
yes. Okay. So if you would look at jab straight, and then if it would go jab straight, hook, overhand, it'd be.
Yeah, and you're throwing at the same time because offense is the best defense.
That's right.
So you're putting a hurting on them at the same time.
Yes. If you're thinking about a street situation, we use the elbow to block. So if you can run them into the elbow, you'll end the fight quickly. And if even in a training situation in the ring, you can just block the shots. Because they told me, they said, like in the real ring, they're not going to let you do that. So I went and I got me an amateur fighter and we won the Golden Gloves and we did it. So it can be done. You know, defense is defense and defense is self-preservation. I always believe that if you can defend yourself, you give the greatest muscle you have a chance to execute, which is your brain.
Yeah.
But if you take too many shots, then you fall into what Mike Tyson said is everybody has a plan until they get punched in the face.
Hey, where can we go to get more information on you?
LyteBurly.com is the website. The two online classes is advanced.lyteburly.com, learn-martialarts.com. My 52 Blocks channel is 52. My channel on YouTube is 52 Blocks Info, and the bat line, if you want to call, just text me. It's 347-816-5357, 347-816-5357. We can just talk defense.
Yeah, there you go. 52 Blocks Martial Arts School. He does it, Lyte Burly. There you go. Keep doing that because unfortunately we have run out of time. I'll try to block as much as we can, but I want to thank all of our guests for tuning in and checking it out. And I want to thank you for checking this whole thing out. We do it just like this each and every week. So make sure you tune in and be a part of it all right? For all of us here at BronxNet, have a great and enjoyable day. And always remember this, what you are is God's gift to you, and what you make of yourself is your gift to God. So choose your choice and let your choice control the chooser. Of the Dr. Bob Lee for 107.5 WBLS. I'll catch you another day, another way. See ya.